The SAMIDRC mission, which began deployments to eastern DRC in December last year, is supported by troops from South Africa, Malawi and Tanzania in support of the DRC government's efforts to neutralize armed groups in the region, and will now have predictable technical and logistical support from MONUSCO.
This is an indication that the Security Council has not turned a blind eye to the situation in eastern DRC. The draft resolution also seeks to create a conducive environment for the implementation of ongoing regional peace efforts, including welcoming the recent ceasefire agreement that was brokered by Angola between the government of the DRC and Rwanda. We believe that dialogue is extremely critical for the settlement of disputes between the conflicting parties in the DRC.
The text authorizes enhanced coordination and technical assistance between MONUSCO and SAMIDRC through providing technical advice and support on protection of civilians, coordinating with SAMIDRC for the utilization of MONUSCO's air and other logistical assets for medical and casualty evacuations of SAMIDRC troops, sharing of information and peacekeeping intelligence in line with relevant UN policies, while emphasizing the importance of implementing the UN zero-tolerance policy on sexual exploitation and abuse, calling on all SAMIDRC troop-contributing countries to ensure appropriate discipline within their ranks.
The Security Council has a key role to play.
Guyana's envoy spoke on behalf of the A3+ group, which includes Mozambique, Sierra Leone and Algeria, welcoming the unanimous adoption.
This resolution comes at a critical period for the DRC and the region, given the challenging security situation that continues to prevail in the DRC's eastern provinces, principally owing to the activities of armed groups operating in the territory. The A3+ is of the firm view that a permanent solution to the problem of these armed groups requires strong support and political will at the national, regional, and international levels. There are already mechanisms in place at each of these levels to counter the threat posed by these armed groups. These mechanisms only need to be consistently and strategically activated.
The resolution further notes the full operationalization of SAMIDRC is aimed at contributing to stability of the eastern DRC, as the United States expressed its reservations.
We remain concerned that the provision of air assets and armored vehicles to facilitate movement of SAMIDRC troops could inflame regional tensions at a fragile moment in the eastern DRC conflict. We must ensure it does not. As this Council has stressed many times, there is no military solution to this conflict. Rather than expanding military operations in eastern DRC, parties should instead focus on ending the violence, re-engaging through the Luanda process, and promoting accountability for human rights abuses by all actors. We welcome the announcement by Angolan President Lourenço of an agreed ceasefire in eastern DRC and express our full support to Angola's efforts through the ad hoc verification mechanism to oversee compliance by both sides.
The US also raised questions about violations to the ceasefire agreement between the DRC and Rwanda, which was due to come into effect on August 4th.
Despite this positive development, we were very disturbed by reports immediately following the ceasefire announcement of continued actions by M23 to expand their control of Congolese territory in blatant disregard of the humanitarian truce. Rwanda must immediately cease its support for M23 and withdraw its troops from eastern DRC. In addition, the DRC must take action against both FDLR leadership and Congolese officials who collaborate with the FDLR. Furthermore, we are alarmed by reports of GPS signal interference, which can be traced back to Rwandan positions and which significantly impacted UN and humanitarian air operations in eastern DRC. These and other threatening and violent actions by RDF and M23 against UN peacekeepers, equipment, or positions are entirely unacceptable. As a leading contributor of troops to UN peacekeeping, Rwanda should know better than to put MONUSCO personnel at risk. Should this irresponsible behavior continue, this Council should consider effective response measures.
The draft requests the Secretary-General, in close coordination with SAMIDRC, to report back to the Council on operational progress to the resolution by November 15th this year. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.